Hey, what's going on, guys? So, I've encountered a few believers recently who have insisted that the events that are described as happening during the opening of the seals in Revelation do not happen chronologically before the events of the trumpets. Okay, so from what I've gathered based on this theory, this is apparently called the mid-trib view, where, according to this theory, the resurrection and rapture would happen at the seventh trumpet, which is the midpoint of the 7-year period, with the idea being that Revelation 11, 11, and 12, which says the Spirit of life from God, enters into the two witnesses at the sounding of the seventh trumpet, and they're raised back to life. And they ascend up to heaven in a cloud. Okay, the mid-trib view says that is the resurrection and rapture of the church. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this real quick. So, like I mentioned before, Revelation gives us a pretty clear set of rules and guidelines for putting together the 7-year timeline. Okay, and the very first rule of the timeline, as far as I'm concerned, is Revelation 8, 1 and 2, which says, "And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour, and I saw the 7 angels which stood before God, and to them were given 7 trumpets." Okay, so I don't know about you, but to me that makes it 100% clear that all 7 seals are opened in Revelation before the 7 angels are given their 7 trumpets, which means everything that's described as happening during the opening of the seals, most importantly the 6th seal, resurrection and rapture of the church, is going to happen before any of the events of the trumpets begin, right? Revelation 8, 1 and 2 makes that pretty clear. But unfortunately, the mid-trib believers that I've encountered do not agree with this assessment that the events of the trumpets follow chronologically after the opening of the seals. So it's a chronological sequence from the seals into the trumpets, and we're going to take a look at another piece of evidence real quick that also clearly indicates the transition from the seals into the trumpets is a chronological sequence, okay? So let's take a look at what happens in Scripture immediately after the announcement that the great day of God's wrath has come. Okay, so in Revelation 6:17, we see the announcement where the rich men and the mighty men proclaim, "For the great day of his wrath has come, and who shall be able to stand?" Okay, so then in the very next series of events, we see this in Revelation 7, 1 through 3. "And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea." Okay, so these angels are the ones who are going to begin the process of causing destruction upon the land and the sea once the day of the Lord begins. And that would be these 4 angels right here at the 6th seal. Okay. But then in the next verse, Revelation 7:3 says, "The angel who was ascending from the east, he tells these 4 angels, 'Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.'" Okay, so as we can see here, the 4 angels who were given the assignment to hurt the earth and the sea were told to wait. It's not time to hurt the earth and the sea yet, because the 144,000 have to first be sealed in their foreheads with the seal of God. And then, of course, the great multitude, which is the church, arrives in heaven immediately afterwards. Okay? And then it's time for the 7th seal to be opened and the day of the Lord begins. Okay, so these 4 angels right up here, they're still in position and ready to carry out their assignments and begin the process of hurting the earth and the sea. They're just waiting for the command to go ahead and do, so when that time comes. Okay, so then once the day of the Lord begins and the 7 angels are given their 7 trumpets, what's the first thing that we see happening? Okay, right here we can see a series of events where the plagues coming down upon the earth throughout the process of the sounding of the first 4 trumpets are going to hurt the earth and the sea. Okay, we have, a third of the trees and all the grass is burned up. Second trumpet, a third of the sea becomes blood. Third trumpet, 1/3 of the rivers and the fountains of water become, wormwood, and many men died because of the waters. And then at the 4th trumpet, we have 1/3 of the day is darkened because the, sun, moon, and stars are affected. Okay, so these angels are hurting the earth through the first four trumpets once the day of the Lord begins, okay? So at this point over here, the day of the Lord has begun, and the time has come for the destruction of the earth and the sea to begin. Okay, so this scenario here clearly demonstrates the fact that the process of going from the events of the sixth seal and transitioning into the events of the trumpets is definitely a chronological sequence, because these four angels were ready to hurt the earth over here at the sixth seal, but then they were told to wait, don't hurt the earth and the sea yet. The time has not come for that yet. So of course they followed those instructions and waited until after the 144,000 are sealed, and then after the great multitude arrived in heaven, over here, once the day of the Lord begins, that's where they begin to hurt the earth and the sea, okay? So this confirms that everything that's described as happening during the opening of the seals will happen immediately before the events of the trumpets begin, all right? So just to make it clear, these four angels were right here at the sixth seal, and then the same four angels, okay, that were going to hurt the earth at the sixth seal, but they were told, wait, not yet, not yet, okay? They're still there. I mean, they were right here, you know, as the 144,000 are being sealed, then, you know, the great multitude arrives. These four angels were waiting, okay, the whole time to, you know, carry out their assignment, okay? And then once the day of the Lord comes, now it's time, okay? Each one of these four angels is hurting the earth, you know, at each of the first four trumpets, okay? All right, so this proves that it's not possible for the events of the sixth seal to happen simultaneously with the events of the six trumpets. Or, with the events of the seventh trumpet, because the events of the seventh trumpet are going to happen 3.5 years after the events of the sixth seal at the midpoint of the 7-year period. And the sixth seal, resurrection and rapture, of course, happens at the beginning of the 7-year period. Okay, so this evidence of a chronological sequence from the opening of the seals directly into the trumpets is also proof that it's not possible for the seals, trumpets, and bowls of wrath to all be intertwined together in a big jumbled mess, which is another form of false teaching that I've seen going around lately. I'm sure you guys have probably heard this before. There's a theory going around that says after the first seal is open, then the first trumpet is going to sound, and then the first bowl of wrath will be poured out, and then the second seal, the second trumpet, and the second bowl of wrath, etc. So obviously that scenario is not possible, since we can see right here that all 7 seals are opened in Revelation before the events of the trumpets are going to begin. So, all right, guys, just wanted to clear that up real quick. So that's going to do it for this video, and I'll talk to you next time. God bless.